I'm a master holder in social policy marketing, PhD in international business, PhD in applied psychology and special education, speech therapist, ABA therapist, and doing like lifelong learning. At the moment, I'm going to go to represent Royal Canadian Academy together with Dr. Blagica as representative person and director of counseling facility for human cooperation. And I would like to wish you welcome in this webinar. I know that unfortunately all of us may have to see each other through the camera and to hear each other through the camera, and you are more than welcome. Dr. Blagica, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in this virtual room. We will discuss today a very important topic, which is how to cope with stress during the COVID-19. And from my perspective, from what I want to say is that I teach psychology almost 13 years, currently at the University American College. In the same time, I'm director of the Counseling Facility for Human Cooperation. It's a Gestalt Training Institute that functions more than 30 years in Macedonia, where we offer a continuous education for Gestalt therapy. And currently we have two groups that educate of students that educate themselves continuously. So I work as a trainer, as a therapist, as a supervisor, and in the same time I work with a lot of clients, families, couples that struggle in their life because of many issues. So this is a very interesting and challenging topic for myself as well, since we are currently in a very challenging time. So the latest month and a half, we experienced something which is completely new for us. We are not familiar with this situation. So we have a lot of challenges with which we need to cope, starting from new ways of working with people. All of the sessions are canceled and all of them go through the internet. So this new environment is very interesting in the same time, but challenging in the same time, because we need to learn a lot of new skills, a lot of new information, and be able to adapt very frequently, very radically, which is not something that most of the people want to do. I will, before we start with the presentation, I want to share one tip that I found yesterday on the social media regarding what is the current situation with in the Corona times. I hope that the technology will. I will ask you to turn off your microphones because I hear some echo from somewhere. You see the video? You see the YouTube, Aleksandra?
Yes, I do. I do, yes.
Let's check. It's okay?
Yes, it is. There is no sound, but there is a video. Let's see, I don't know, I think that they are sharing something. Okay.
Okay, so it was a okay.
Blagica?
Just a second. I'm coping with the technology issues.
Okay.
I'm sharing the presentation now.
Okay, thank you. In the time being, I saw one of my students. I was her mentor for her master. Isra, hello. I'm so happy to see your name at least over here. She is in Saudi, by the way, at the moment. Blagica, how you're doing?
Okay. There we are. Do you see the presentation now? Yes? Aleksandra?
Yes.
Good. So we started with the current situation. That was a short video that represents the current situation through art. So what is currently happening is that we are all in the situation where we are all on a plane that is flying in the unknown direction. We don't know how much time we'll spend in the plane. We don't know where we are going. In the same time, we have to face all the consequences of the existential discomfort that this journey brings. So this is a heavy material for our body, our mind, and our soul. And we need to cope with it as fast as we can and to adapt and use all of the possible resources that are available to us. So if we want to explain all of the factors to the stress currently, this is what I done. I tried to somehow put them in the groups. I will ask you to mute your microphones because there is some sound that goes behind. Okay, thank you. So I tried to group them somehow and find out the most important factors that contribute to the stress. In working with the people, clients, and groups during this period is that the negative worldview, the negative environment, the constant change and endless uncertainty, as well as other people's behavior and new routines and expectations are the most important factors that contribute to our condition now. So we will explain them one by one. In terms of the negative environment, all the time listen and hear different kind of messages, verbally and non-verbally, that are reminding us what is happening in the moment. So messages sound like you're not moving. You will not go to the next scientific conference because it was canceled. Go on a family vacation that we have been planning for 2 years because we could cancel it. We will be infected with the virus, and we are much more afraid that whether we will exist or not until this finish. If we will be ever able to move physically or get from one point to another in the process of achieving their goals. We are wondering if we will be able to return from a certain destination, or if we will be allowed to reconsider our life choices and make new decisions for ourselves. So mainly there are plenty of messages that we are, as I mentioned, constantly receiving, that we are trying to process in our mind. Our body is struggling together with all of the changes that are happening in our perception. This makes us constantly uncertain and afraid of what is happening outside. Well, in the same line with this goes the negative worldview, the media, the social media, all of the messages that we are receiving through the television, through all of the newsletters and everything that we are reading and listening in the current period. See the statistics from yesterday on the left side. From the other side, what the media is saying, that outside world seems to have become unattainable overnight. It has become a place that is constantly changing. A lot of things are happening here. What is happening is getting worse. In the same time, is one of the very important factors that clients and students are mentioning is how the other people behave. There are plenty of labels that people are giving to the people during this period. As you can see, they are all negative. And what we can see is that the behavior of the people is changing depending on the defense mechanisms they're using to cope with the current situation. So there are many complainers, many negatives, many winners, many snippers, controllers, exploders. So some of them are able to use the time that they have to self-develop themselves, but there are many other that use this period of time or abuse this period of time to share their negative thoughts on the social media and maybe to abuse this situation on the way in which they will find the way to cope with it. Additional factor that contribute to the situation is the constant change that is happening. For example, in my situation, my classes with my students have completely shifted through online platforms. I often ask myself when I will return to the classroom. My office is constantly empty, no clients, no students, no live contact. This is something that was not happening before, especially because I work psychotherapy and it requires a live contact, and it requires, in order to explain the process, it requires to be with the person, and when you are with the computer is a completely different story. Anyway, the fast process of changing things required fast adaptation. So what we are doing now is making counseling and therapy sessions online. It's not the same, but it functions until the certain way. However, the constant change is the biggest factor that contributes to the stress, because the only person that wants constant change is baby in diapers. So all the other people are not used to change all the time. So they need time to adapt. They cannot adapt so fast as the changes are happening. And this makes a lot of frustration to them. They constantly struggle and have a lot of negative feelings about changing all the time.
Blagica? Sorry for interruption, but I think that some of the participants, they cannot hear you. Mm-hmm. If you can see the chat, I think they cannot hear you. Would you like to check over there? Sorry for interruption.
Okay, what about now? Okay, I will open chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to share with us? Can you hear us or not? It's clear now? Okay, Dr. Turaya.
So,
okay, now it's better.
Okay, so based on the current situation, based on all of the changes that are required, and as I said, people do not want to change. They want comfort. They want to feel comfortable. The changes are requiring new routines, new expectations. So everything changed in the last month, as we mentioned, like daily routines, schooling, working, new ways of schooling, working through online, new platforms, interruptions. Lost sense for data and time. Many people and families actually lost the sense what day it is and what time it is. Another routine is that we constantly wash our hands. We are careful not to use the same cutlery, pay attention to which personal hygiene utilities we use, have different disinfection tools and different soaps from other members in our families. We are constantly anxious about touching the screens with our hands, that we are constantly anxious about. Are the screens disinfected for the 100th times? And the same applies to the floor, the table, the keyboards, and everything else. So there is an endless uncertainty that starts and actually continues with the question, what will happen to us? No wonder if we are often in conflict, especially if someone sneezes or coughs. The most people ask the question, what will happen to us? And since there is no answer on this question, as I mentioned at the beginning, the most common answer is just stay in a good mood. The scenes on the street or in the market actually are showing distracted people, masked, endlessly frightened, with their eyes in the floor, in endless uncertainty and immense need for screaming. At the same time, the tactile change of protection is something that actually creates this environment of endless uncertainty, which means that most of us learn much more to respect than to despair. Follow the recommendations that says that personal hygiene items should be shared with other family members, should not be shared with other family members. In the same time, they wash the hands every time they enter in the house, but in the same time, when they enter in the house, they start touching the objects and clothes that they were wearing outside. So in the same time, they touch the buttons, taps, elevator buttons, keys. People are wondering if they should be washed and disinfected as well. So the moment they become aware of the tactile change of potential infection, they experience losing the ground under their feet. They feel very anxious. Many of them are having panic attacks, and they experience a big frustration because they know that they cannot stop this chain, that the chain will exist no matter what they're doing and how much they're trying to behave according to the recommendations. So the main new important questions in Corona times is the following questions, at least from what I found in my experience. So people are asking, we are currently learning new routines of protection and disinfection, but the question remains whether this will continue or not. Did we start on time, too early or too late? Will the itching of my hands from excessive washing and disinfection continue or stop? Does panic shopping means madness of the belief that danger is near and exists? Or will the belief that the virus will one day magically disappear help more? We are all overwhelmed with texts that inspire hope and carry a positive message that says that the one who knows how to think positively in all situations does well. This is what I'm reading constantly. A lot of new texts from many people that are trying to motivate other people or to help them to cope and to give them psychosocial support. Usually what they recommend is to stay positive, to use your time in a positive way, inspire yourself, motivate yourself. But from the other side, the question that the client is asking is it possible not to have negative feelings about anything in life? Is this normal? Is this healthy? Even for pandemic and discomfort of this magnitude. So before we go on with possible tools and recommendations for how to control this situation. This was the representation of the current situation. I represented my point of view and all of the changes that happened in my life. I want you to think about your COVID-19 perspective, to try to become aware of your body, mind, and soul in this moment. So think about the latest period when you were in isolation. Check what this period means to you and how you experience this period right now. Bring this period in here and now and try to be aware about all of the causes of stress during the latest period. It is written last week, but you can choose the duration of the period for which to talk. So identify and make a list of 3 things that you consider as your strengths for stress control, and at the same time, try to make a list of 3 things that you consider as your weaknesses during this period. So take a piece of paper. In the next 5 minutes, try to be in contact with yourself, your body, your mind, your soul, and write down, as we mentioned, the causes of the stress and the strengths and weaknesses during COVID-19. If you want, you can write down in the chat, so we will be able to see it. Or since you finish, you can try to connect with us and share your opinion.
Blagica, if you allowed me, before to continue with the, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Before to continue with the task, what you give it to the participants. Why, I don't know, I cannot see the presentation. Maybe you turn it off. Never mind. Okay. What and why Dr. Blagica decided to do this exercise with you? Because at the moment, all of us, we are facing the completely different things, but in the same time, they're the same things. Why? Because all of us, we're at home, all of us, we have a family, small kids, big kids, husband, wife at home, and, you know, this is the things what bring us here together where we are. I mean, we're in the different places in the world, but anyhow, we are here together. Why should I recommend it to take a piece of paper and just open your mind, open yourself, and try to come up with something what can help us as a therapist, as a practitioners, starting from tomorrow, to do that with the class with who we work. I mean, I hope that I'm clear, and I hope that clearly you understood what Dr. Blagica want to say. And if Blagica, if you don't have something, or if you want to share, I think Blagica, they can do that here. They can speak. They can talk in the timing. We don't mind that.
Yeah.
Just turn on the mic or the camera. It's up to you.
So the point that the group is not very big right now. So there are around 13 participants. You can communicate with us. It can be interactive session. So just feel free to share what you want, what you need right now.
I cannot hear Abdurrahman. Technology with what we have to face during Corona. That is the first issue. Abdurrahman? Okay.
I'm seeing that Abdul wants to contact us, but I don't see. I just see something gray or white and some voice that is coming. So, Abdul, can you write down maybe in the chat? It will be better.
Anyone want to share your ideas? Blagica, I don't know, can you see the question? How should I deal with my youngest sister who lives alone right now in this pandemic? Okay, Blagica, are you going maybe with?
Well, maybe.
Go ahead.
Maybe it will be better if you can communicate with us just to say more about the situation. To explain more, to give us more information about your
facing with
sister?
Something. Yes. Are you facing with something? Does she facing some issues, or maybe the scaredness, anxiety. You have to tell us, sister. Okay, another questions or anybody want to be in live?
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Anna is here.
Yes, Anna.
I would like to ask a question in general, maybe for all of us also. So how to deal with anxiety with older people who are not able to go out, who are like 60 plus, and because of their, for example, high blood sugar, or some chronic disease, they need to walk every day for like 1 hour, and they used to do it, and the weather is getting very hot. All the like gyms in the buildings are also locked. So how to deal with that and with their stress, and they are also very stressed that something can happen to them, that they can die because of the virus, because they have chronic diseases. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Well, Anna, the next part of this session actually will be with the guidance, the recommendation about how to deal with anxiety for different generations of people. So we will discuss about different kind of techniques that you can use. What I will mention now is that the most of the people really need to express their feelings, because in our societies, the mentality is that if you do not express your feelings, you are the strong one. It is normal to feel afraid. It is normal to feel frustrated. It is normal to be nervous in these kind of situations. So allowing people to talk about their feelings or having deeper, meaningful conversation is a very important thing for all the generations, starting from the kids to the oldest people. So actually giving people opportunity and giving them courage to share as much as they can about how they feel is one of the most important things. When we are listening to them, the point is not to say, oh, don't worry, this will pass, or come on, you should not complain right now, everything will be okay. Actually, it requires a very empathetic relationship in which, in the most of the cases, it's very useful to keep silent. Sometimes we don't need to say much, just to be there, just to be present and to listen. This is one of the things. During the presentation, we will present some other things, and I hope that you will find them useful. What I wanted to say now, because we represented one exercise, is maybe to think about your strategies or your strengths and weaknesses during this time. So how you're managing to cope with your anxiety, what you're doing good, and what you consider that should be improved. So maybe it's a good idea to focus on this, and if you want to share it with us. Okay. Does anyone wants to ask or share something right now?
I would. Anna,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I have 3 young kids under 6, so it's very hard. We live in a flat, so it's really, really hard because we don't have even a small garden. Even in our compound, everything is closed, it's everywhere. So what I do with kids, I usually I plan what we will do next day, like for the younger one and for the older one, because I have 2 like 6 years old and 2 1.5 years old. So it's really, different things. But I plan in advance what I'm going to do tomorrow, and I just think about 2-3 activities during the day, and we perform maybe only one for each, but it's fine. What I do, I'm still using the good weather, and I installed a small swimming pool, so we have some splash time, and it's just very hard for them. They are, we are now in quarantine about like maybe 2 months, and they see it's something completely different. So that's why they started to perform tantrums from time to time. the younger one. So I don't know, maybe, okay, you will talk later about the different generations. So 1.5 years old also, please, if you can mention, and the toddlers. So yeah, but this is how I'm managing for now, and I'm trying to teach my older daughter. She's 6. I'm trying to teach her more skills, like even in our household, so to do some chores, or to organize her somehow. Plus, I'm teaching her online. I mean, we have to follow the school, and I'm teaching her myself, because we cannot follow up always with the school at a particular time, because I'm working also online, and my husband. So yeah, if someone wants to share some tips for the kids, please. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So organizing the day, the time, and practicing the everyday activities, having the same routine sometimes is very helpful for the children, especially for the younger one, because they follow the routines that they have all the time, as well as the behavior of the parents and the oldest siblings. So it's very important to be aware about how you express yourself, what are you doing, what kind of model you are in coping with the current situation. I know that it's not an easy thing to control everything all the time, but it's very important to be honest and to whatever happens to share how you feel. That sometimes even though you are trying to be creative and create as much as you can new activities, it's very hard to satisfy the 3 kids in one house for so long period of time. So first of all, to give yourself opportunity to have a time for yourself, to take care for yourself, in order to be able to offer them some kind of model or behavior of how they can take care for themselves as well. So maybe you will end up with more ideas later on. Okay, thank you for the question.
Blagica, and I hope that you can hear me. I would like to open this question, and I would like, I mean, if you don't need to share the things, no need for that, but we can just think about that. Anna said that she made a plan for them, and all of us, not only Anna or somebody else, sorry Anna if I'm taking your name, but even me, I plan from the morning till the end of the day. Is it correct what we do? What is our freedom? I mean, freedom of thinking, freedom of doing, freedom of acting. I mean, imagine if you do have a kids at home, and imagine if you as a parent planning your time. I mean, what is their freedom? How now the question is how we can open their mind, because I deal with the kids daily, and I want to know as a parent and as an educator how we can do what we can do if we know that using the technology can produce autism, using social media it's a negative impact, using I don't know, messy things I have to clean after them. This is a lot of questions now, how we have to think. And I mean, don't forget that as a parent we are affected with the stress, we're affected with the fear, we're affected with what will be happen tomorrow. There's a lot of people lost their jobs, and I'm sharing this with you because later on we have to think about what, yes, routines as a routines for the kids, but how they will go back to the normal life, how we will go back to the normal life if everything is in 4 walls.
Yeah. Well, that's the part of the change that we discussed about during the presentation. It's something new, and we don't know what will happen. But what we know is that if we are in here and now, accepting this situation as it is, I mentioned the planning and organizing. You ask where is the freedom, so you will include your children into the planning process. You can, of course, not the child that is 1.5 years, but the children that are older, like 5 or 7 years, so they can be involved into the process. So you can plan together, like, okay, let's make a plan what we are going to do tomorrow. Let's make a schedule together, or let's make or create some kind of the interesting activities where we all can be involved. Qualitative time together. In the same time, to explain to the children that sometimes I need some time for myself as a parent. Like, let's find the time how we will deal with it. For example, to follow some webinar, or to talk with some friend, or do something different. So they may have a feeling of freedom if they're involved into the process, and they can use their creative potential and even develop their creative potential kind of situations. So in the most of the cases, we are building a new skills. We are forced to build and to learn new things, to be more creative, and to keep the same standard, the same quality of life, even though we are in 4 walls. So it's something that is challenging us to become something better. It's not always the worst thing. It's a good thing sometimes to be challenged in that way.
All the bad things are not bad. We have to remember that. Isra,
one more thing I want to say. It's not always, as you mentioned, even though sometimes things look bad, they're not always bad. And sometimes to feel not so good, it's okay. To feel anxious sometimes is the healthiest choice. Maybe it sounds strange, but that's the point, that we need to cope somehow. And even though we are anxious, or if we are angry, or if we are disappointed, sometimes it is the best possible choice for us. It's not always something that for which we need to say this is a bad thing, or I'm not coping well. Okay.
Shall we continue? Anyhow, we'll have a couple of more exercises, and we can go through that one in the discussion, open discussion, before to finish with the webinar. I know this is the huge topic, and you can see that there's a lot of questions. Blagica?
I just want to check the chat. If anyone... Okay, Anita Chukalevska, I organize the day, including the kids' activities. I don't see TV. I try to check social media every second day. I meditate. Good, great. Then we have Isra.
Isra, yes.
I have a big notebook called Happy Planner. Everything is written in this notebook. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go on. If you have more ideas later on, we'll have opportunities to discuss about it. Okay, Aleksandra, it's your turn.
Thank you. Like in the school, your turn, my turn. Okay, let's do it. Okay, before when I will see this word control, that I'm in panic already. Do we have to control or not? This is the main concern and main question, what we have to think about it. Okay, live your life and create your life, create your dreams. This is what Alrod said, but I do agree with that one. Can you hear me? I think that, yeah, Blagica, everything is fine. Can you hear me? Okay. Before to start with the presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit. For the educators, talking is the biggest issue, by the way. To maintain the mental health and be collected during the pandemic of COVID-19, and all that followed as a result of the spread of the infection is almost as important as following the instruction that advice of the World Health Organization and the local authorities. Doesn't matter where you live in the part of the world, but yes, we do have to follow the instructions. We cannot act that nothing is happening, but we can and must calmly and rationally, with cold heads, consider the facts. Listen to the expert and see how long the situation will actually take it. Reading, listening, I mean, for me, for example, I will tell you from my personal point of view and my personal experience that I try to avoid the social media, and I try to don't be focused on On the newspapers, yes, I will read just to see the cases, what's going on in the world, but I'm not focusing on the situation, what can make me more panic. At the time when the world is facing pandemic, the amount of such a content has increased. So the question arises how to avoid the stress caused by the news sense that scare us while remaining informed. Like there is a says that, let me try to translate that, hungry and full people look at a slice of bread differently. I hope that you can understand this meaning. And it's a fact that, and at the same time, it's not a fact that if we do live in the huge villa, if we do live in apartment, if I do have a pool, or if I have a tennis court in my place, is the same. It's the same or different. In the same time, yes, it's same because you are at home with only family members, and that's it. The biggest concern, what right now and how it's to feel, is discomfort. I'm starting from my side, and I'm sharing this one with you, what daily we are facing with, and how to get stronger. This is the main thing. I mean, stronger, I'm not saying let's build it up. Mentally, how to get stronger, and how to learn something from this lesson. This is the huge lesson for everyone, and we have to find the best solution for the things. Then, did you ask yourself, there is no cars on the street, but to the end, there are no cars on the street, but can you see what's going on with the nature? What's going on with the black holes? I hope that all of you read that one. I mean, the human destroying the nature. And now we are thinking there's no cars on the street, but to the end, the nature is coming beautiful. I don't know, did you read that what's happened in Italy? In Italy, again, you can see, especially in Venice, you can see the dolphins over there, and the birds, what long time back they didn't see it. Then there is no trains and air transport, but to the end, again, while I will go back to the black hole, the black hole are reduced over there. The shops are not open. I'll ask, because I'm starting again from myself. When I enter to the shop, yes, before that I have a preparation from home. I have to put the mask, I have to put the gloves. Maybe sometimes I'll forget the gloves. Then you have to go back home, see how we are planning. 10-15 minutes is taking from our time to get ready to go to the shop. When you enter to the shop, yesterday I faced that when in some of the shops are crowded, and the people they don't care, but they're not controlling the situation, what's going on. And now I'm thinking, no, I'll leave the shop and I will come later on. This is the things what we are facing, and increasing the stress, increasing the fear. And in general, this is my comfort zone, what is not the same. This is me, what is not the same, doing the things. Blagica, I think that I cannot control the slide. Okay. I don't know what you did. Okay. Let's go through the things that we all back for deep emotional connection and a live conversation. Again, I want to call my friend of mine who are at home with the family. Now I'm thinking, is it the right time to call her? Maybe she's with the kids, maybe she's with her husband. Again, you know, I'm just asking myself 10,000 times before to do that. Before I didn't think, because I know that till that time she's at work now. From this to this time, she's driving back home, and it's easily for me to find her in this period. Do you agree that we are going through the same things? Yes, I hope that you agree on that one. And we are the part of this mass suffering. We become more resilient if we have the opportunity to see others experience the same way. That's the reason why we did this webinar, just to have an open discussion, to have the open discussion. Wait on, I'll switch off your mic. I don't think so. This is the one of the part what psychologists said, but before that, we know that the stress can be acute, occurring suddenly, or it can be chronic, gradually building up and persisting over a longer period. With which part you're gonna go to choose to be acute, what's going on at the moment, and let's fight at the moment, or let's think about if it will be chronic stress, let's think how we're going to go to fight for the long period. I'm for that one to be acute and solve the things at the moment, at the spot, and to have the consequences what can bring my mind in freedom to come up with the completely new ideas. Why I'm telling you this one, because psychologically, I mean, the most difficult part is the psychological state of the people. Why psychological? I think Blagica are gonna go to agree with me, or maybe not, because we are changing, we are redesign our mental set. Not that we are changing our mental set, but we have to redesign. I mean, if I was thinking, I was the person who was against the social media, the person who was against the technology. Now I have to do, because I redesigned my brain that I have to do that in this situation. Not that I have to, I learn. I've been forced to learn the new things, but at the same time, I have to be in the step with the society, with the environment, with the world. Then many try to be the solidary, to offer help to the young. Blagica, just go back. Yes, I would like to share this one. To have the virtual conversation with the people in love, to celebrate the birthdays and parties. A couple of days ago, yes, I've been invited to the birthday party. Imagine what birthday party was that? Friend of mine, her daughter had a birthday, and we celebrated on the Zoom, not on WebEx. And imagine the kids, they've been playing, everyone in their home. It was, I don't know how to say, but yes, we have to do the new things. And the last thing what I want to just to touch as a point, how you will think in the box or outside of the box. You know, the Pandorin box was, I hope all of you know, when they opened it was empty, but hopefully that our box, it's not going to be empty. It will be with our wishes, our needs, first of all, our wants, and that we can spread all around us. Blagica, please. Thank you. Now we came to the mental health outcomes. Blagica mentioned from the beginning that the matter, it's not that what now, but yes, the matter is what now, and the matter is what after. I mean, the world will be changed permanently, and we have to change ourselves permanently. But the question is how. I will tell you how from my side. I will respect the nature more than ever. I will respect the others more than ever. I will respect myself, my freedom, my personality more than ever, because this thing what I faced in these 2 months was something what really, they opened my eyes, they opened my all 6 senses, and I started to think completely different. Let's go back to this, the consequences, such trauma, confusion, and anger. At the moment, the fatigue is noticeable despite the lack of physical activity and sitting at home. I hope that, and I'm sure that all of you are doing some physical activity, but to the end, are you going to make the, I don't know, Zumba place, Pilates place, yoga place at home? I don't know, put the dumbbells over here and there? No, we cannot, because we are human and we have to live in the society. This is the different mental health outcomes, what they will come up and happen to us. This functionality of the families, the domestic violence, the peoples get angry, the peoples get nervous because of the things what's going on. Blagica, please. Are you going to add something over here?
About sleeping and eating.
No, I don't want to mention that one. Don't scare me, please, about sleeping.
I will say
our with before and after.
Yeah, so there are not many things that we can control right now. Like if we cannot,
but we have to.
Yeah, in terms of having connection with the environment, having connection with the environment naturally is the only way to satisfy our needs. So we need the environment in order to complete our needs. starting from the first moment when we have been born. So we are taking the air from outside, which means that we are in the connection with the environment. So this connection is the crucial for our development and for the feeling of satisfaction. And now, when the situation is that we have many choices outside, we have a lot of possibilities outside, but we are not allowed to go outside. This means that we are not allowed to satisfy our needs. So in these cases, the only thing that we can control in terms of the satisfaction is sleeping and eating. That's why many people eat too much, or they do not eat at all, or eat smaller pieces of food, or they sleep too much, or they're not sleeping at all. So this is how they control. They think they have a control. It's a perception. It's a phantasmatic opinion that I can control the situation. This is regarding this part. In terms of the other things that are changing in mental health, a lot of families are struggling. The family violence is increasing. The substance abuse is in rise all the time. And in the same time, since the unemployment is also rising, people feel very unsafe and insecure, and they consider that they're losing the ground under their feet and that they are not able to cope for themselves and for the families. And probably we will cope with a lot of people that will suffer for post-traumatic stress disorder after this. Because now most of them are under shock. They're pretty much emotional. They're not even able to solve the problems because they're pretty much into the process. So they will need time. So this will happen after. So we will deal with the consequences, psychological consequences, in the next 3 to 5 years, if I can say, maybe even longer. Okay.
Yes, please.
Aleksandra?
No, I don't have anything to add over here. If you want, you can continue. Let me just check. Anybody to add something, to ask something over here? If you don't have, we can continue. Blagica?
So this is an exercise for you, again, to try to visualize your stress. I will ask you to collaborate and cooperate this time, because I think that this will be very useful for you. Just to use this time for yourself, think about yourself, and maybe in the next 10 to 15 minutes, become aware of your current stress and how this stress looks like, how this stress, kind of what is the color of your stress, what is the taste of your stress, just to become aware a little bit about how you experience the stress. So it's a good idea to write down your answers in the chat, and I will try to connect them somehow just to see the whole picture of the whole group. So the questions that you are asked that we are asking you to answer is to think about how does it look like to be in contact with your stress. So the first thing is, being in contact with my stress makes me feel. You need to add a word or a sentence or whatever comes to your mind. So how you feel when you are in the contact with your stress. The second thing, or the second question that you should think about is, when I think about my stress, my body respond. How? So explain your body reactions. What is happening to your body? The third one is, when I experience stress, my first thought is, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you experience stress? The first thing that you are thinking about in that moment. Then the next one is, when I'm under stress, I behave. What is changing in your behavior? For example, I'm eating too much, or I'm sleeping too much, or I'm very angry with my children, or something is changing. Just be aware about that. Then if my stress has a color, it will be what color? Think about the color of your stress. The taste of my stress is, check this one. You become aware about the taste as well as the smell. How you smell, how your stress, what kind of smell your stress has. In the same time, think about the voice of your stress. Is it gentle? Is it easy? Or is it something that has a lot of oscillations and it's very loud sometimes? And the last one is experiencing stress is, just try to answer this question. Is it a good thing for you, bad thing for you, something that you are doing all the time, or something that is rarely happening to you? So, as I said, it will be very good to contribute. I will ask you to contribute on this one. So let's start with the first three. If you send me your answers, I will try to make like a group screen, just to have a group vision of your answers. So let's go one by one. Being in contact with my stress makes me feel. Just type your answers.
Blagica?
Yes.
Are they going to type on the chat or direct on the?
No, on the chat, yes. Yes,
Chat,
and I will,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, just please share again the presentation to be easy for them to read.
I just want to open the other window.
Excuse me, just a question. Are you going to read each question so we can just answer quickly in the chat?
Yes.
Or we should answer all the questions? Yeah, all right, thank you.
Here are the questions. See them?
Yes.
I can see.
Can you see, Anna?
Yes, yes, I can see. So I will answer all these 4 questions. Then you will change the slide, right? Okay, thank you.
Eva, these are the questions. What you can see over here, being in contact with my stress makes me. When I think about stress, my body. When I'm under stress, I behave. When I experience stress, my first stop is. You have 4 questions here. Yes, Blag, it's already typing, entering all of your answers. Okay. Angry. Okay. I think that all of these answers are related with the first question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're done with the first question, you can continue with the Blagica. Which one are you going now? When I think about stress, second one, which one is second? When I think about stress,
my body. So write down all of the changes in your body. What is changing in your body? Maybe the way you breathe, or your hands are shaking, or you have a headaches, or maybe your heart is beating faster, or your stomach is working differently. So yeah, write down what is changing in your
Anna,
body.
thank you. Blagica, you can see the answers from Anna.
Yeah.
Abdurrahman already headache. The Turaya short breaths. I have the same, I cannot breathe. When I will put my mask and when I will go outside, I think that immediately I cannot breathe. Strong heart pulse, sweating and breathing fast. Blagica, can you see the chat?
Just a second. Something happened here. Okay.
It's technology.
I will put them like this. So we'll see.
Please. Perfect. Blagica, I think that the nervous is related with the first question. I behave with second.
I cannot function so fast. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anna, same for me. Technology makes me more stressed.
Short breath. Okay. What next? So I don't hurt myself or people around me. What is next? So probably this is the fourth question. Okay. Feeling more energetic and I feel stone in my stomach. Okay. Strong heart pulse. Sweating and breathing fast. My heart is beating faster. Okay, I think we have this one. Yes. Sweating, lack of concentration. This is related to the behavior. Technology makes me more stressed. Yeah.
Even I don't want to be next to you when you're stressful.
Okay, thank you very much for your answers. I will go to the next slide just to answer the next one. Okay. Okay, let's go to the, thank you for this one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, if my stress has a color, it will be Okay. Let's go to the next one. The taste of my stress is.
Bitter. Okay, great.
Anyone else to share the taste of the stress? Okay. What about the smell?
Smelling on mask.
The smell of my stress.
Yesterday, I will share one thing with you. Blagica, can you hear me?
Yeah.
And I had one meeting outside, and I put the mask on me, gloves, and I put the lipstick, by the way. And when I removed the mask, imagine how the lipstick looked like, and how did I look like, by the way? See, this is the routines what we are just losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You need to adapt.
Yeah.
Live without makeup. No smell. No smell. Okay. Burn. I don't understand.
Which one?
Letters.
This is Arabic, by the way.
Okay. Burn.
Sulfur. Sulfur.
Sulfur.
Victoria, it's nice, sweet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go with the voice. What kind of voice your stress has? Screaming voice.
Angry, loud.
Okay, we have that one. Okay. Okay, and the last one, experiencing stress is whatever comes to your mind. Share it.
It's fine, Blagica, it's readable.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and visualizing your stress. I will just go back to the slide that we created together, just to see the whole picture. So the most of the answers when we discuss about how do you feel about being in stress were nervous and anxious. Some of you mentioned that they feel sad or weak, okay, or both nervous and anxious. So there are some similarities, but there are some differences in what kind of emotions we have during the stress situation. The stress is the reaction of the situation. So the most of the feelings, as you can see, are negative. I don't see that one of you pointed to something positive, at least when you were thinking about your emotions. Maybe when you were sharing the function of the stress, what is the function of the stress? You mentioned that sometimes it inspires you or motivates you, but when it comes to how do we feel, in the most of the cases, it's a negative emotions that we're feeling. In the same time, our body is changing completely, which means that every single part of our body is working differently. In the most of the cases, we actually experience how the blood is changing in terms of, in the most of the cases, the blood is in our hands, in our legs, because we want to move faster and to run away. It is very similar to what is happening to our body when we experience fear. So just think about how your body is responding when we are afraid of something. So we are mobilizing the muscles, we are mobilizing the hands, the legs. We are in the position to fight, or to run faster, or to freeze. So there are three different reactions that we are experiencing. In the same time, our heart is working differently. In the most of the cases, we have increased heart pulse. In the same time, we have headaches sometimes. We are sweating, our hands are shaking. As I said, our muscles are prepared for running away. So our digestion system is working differently. Some of the people have increased blood pressure. Some of the people have increased sugar in the blood. So every single aspect is different. However, even though there are a lot of similarities in what is changing, different people experience different changes in the body. In the same time, together with the body and emotions, we have changes in our behavior. So we started to behaving more angry, or become more impulsive, or we are in conflict with the people more often than before, or sometimes we just avoid, we don't want to see anyone. So we want to be alone. Some of people have lack of concentration. They cannot concentrate or they can, some of them can concentrate better than before. So we are not, some of the people cannot bring the decisions in this kind of situation, but some of them do not think about bringing decisions, but they just bring decision immediately. So again, there are similarities, but differences as well. And regarding the thoughts, again, together with the feelings and changes in the body and the behavior, the most of the thoughts that we have are negative. So here we have some of your thoughts, how to calm down and not to reflect on my kids. What's next, so I don't hurt myself or people around me, or technology makes me more stressed than quarantine. So a lot of people experience, as we mentioned, negative thoughts. Here we have the senses, so every single sense that we have is affected because our body, our emotions, our thoughts, and our behavior is changed. Everything is changed. Everything is into the process. So what you mentioned, the color that you are experiencing visually of your stress, different colors, the most of the answers were blue, but we have red, gray, pink, yellow. Regarding the taste, because this is the sense as well, so it gives you a lot of information about how do you feel. Sour, pale, iron, bitter, again, not so sweet tastes that we are experiencing. In the same time, the smell, you said no smell, but the nose is giving you a lot of information, again, about what is happening in your body, in your mind, and in your soul. Some of you mentioned burn, spicy, sulfur, sweet, etc. So the voice is screaming very loud. Loud was the most often answer, angry, hysterical, and the experience was scared. I feel broken, like glass cracking, experiencing stress. It teaches me how to deal with the current situation and to push my limits. Some of you mentioned that it's disappointing feeling, some of them are motivating, overwhelming, fight or flight, a challenge, etc. So based on what you answer, we will continue with the presentation of explanation about the impact of the stress, the meaning of the stress, and the difference between positive and negative stress. As you already realized on these two slides, the most of the answers were negative thoughts, negative emotions, negative changes in the body. But some of you at the end of the day mentioned that this is motivating experience that is giving you more opportunities to develop some other skills and develop your potential furthermore. So Aleksandra?
Cannot see the...
Okay.
Would you like just to share on the full screen, please? I think something of this slide already you touch. And no, next one.
This one?
Yeah, I think already you explained these things. Yeah, thank you. I will start with something what all of us we know, or maybe you heard about the Carl Jung. That was the famous psychologist who said, what you resist survives. And the fight against anxiety can take many forms. First of all, people might be distracted doing the what they mentioned, please, short method to control stress. We will have during the webinar that things. Some of them, we mentioned that eating too much, sleeping too much, drinking too much, using the inappropriate activities that they would do more than usual, develop addictions. We do have like two types of stress, positive and negative stress. The positive, it's this type of stress, stress is bad, but it can be viewed as a simulation to growth and development and used as a challenge. From the other side, like before to continue, the positive stress can be, you can do a lot of webinars, you can do a lot of seminars during this during this period. What do we have? But from the other side, the negative stress can exist where there is the perceived imbalance in between demands and our ability to meet these demands. Like you want to do and you cannot, or you don't have a chance to do. This is the things what we are facing daily. And every day, like the minor stress, how can bring you the huge expand of the stress. How do there is the say in the in between people that the small drop can spill over the glass. Yes, Blagica, you continue and it's good. There are some thoughts over here that to be without stress is to be that. Yes, it's normal to be stressful. It's as a human, we know that it's fine. Sometimes it's fine to be stressful, but the main thing is how to control, how to manage with the stress in the creative way. It's because this why there is a bad and good things, because if you know how to use the things what's happening now, it will be easy for you to digest the consequences what will be come up, and nobody doesn't know in which form, in which type, in what time it will come up. To have a little stress, we'll feel bored, but to have it too much, we're going to burn out. This is the main thing what we have to think, and we'll talk about later on about how to control the stress. We have to find some balance in between too much and too less. That is usually daily we're facing with these things, but this is the situation what teach us to use our senses to deal with the situation, the current situation. Usually, as a human, we think that we usually how are our thoughts that we think about yesterday. We are making plan about the future, and we don't think about now, today, what's going on, what's happening. This is our human mind. This is the ratio towards the emotional mind. We will do another exercise over here, but before to do that, from the beginning, we mentioned that we're going to change our mindset. We're going to change our emotional mind. We will start to see the reality from the completely another angles, from the completely another perspective. Our ratio is practically powerless to communicate with the emotional mind that is in our reality. If you can see the wise mind, what is the wise mind? That is the combination in between emotional and reasonable mind. Sometimes, usually, we think with the heart, we don't think with the brain, or opposite. We think with the brain, we don't include the heart. And now how to put these things together and have a wise mind. Why? Because at this time, we need this one to bring decision. I'm not going to say the smart decision, because who knows what is the smart decision in this situation, but the wise decision and using the wise mind. Blagica, are you going to explain something extra over here, or do you want to continue to explain the exercise, what they have to do? I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
So what is presented on this slide is that when our amygdala, the place in our mind where I'm reading the chart in the same moment, so it's distracting me, but I will we will go back to the previous slide. Can I see the previous slide? Somebody's writing. Just to explain this part, and we can go back. So where the part of our brain that is responsible for emotions is faster than the part of our brain, the frontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that is responsible for bringing decisions, being logical, being rational. So what is happening is that when we are experiencing stress, our perception of the reality is affected from our emotional brain, and the information that we are receiving from the reality, it's not even going to the frontal part of the brain because it's already blocked. So we do not receive the appropriate information and we cannot bring the decision or being reasonable. So one of the most important things that maybe you will learn if you want to take this and use it in the future is to remember that there is no learning process if there is a stress present. Even though we think that the stress can motivate us, the stress can inspire us, continuous stress actually is blocking us from learning new things, new information, new skills. Especially in working with children, it's very important to remember that if children are experiencing stress, they cannot learn and be creative. No way. Because the whole process, as I said, our emotional part of the brain, or the part that is controlling the emotion, is blocking all of the information. So they cannot learn that. Or just think about yourself when you were in the school and you were experiencing stress. What was happening? The most of the time, you feel that you are blocked and that whatever is happening outside is not touching you. So it's not something that you can take it. And it's not something that you can accumulate as a part of yourself. And it's not something that in which you feel that you are present. So just be aware about this information in the future, because in the most of the cases we are pushing ourselves, we are trying not to sleep, not to eat, to work a lot of hours, want to think about creating solutions, but in the end of the day we are not capable to do it because we need to be relaxed, we need to calm down, we need to find the time for ourselves in order to be able to bring the appropriate decisions. So this is an exercise just to think about your emotional mind, your reasonable mind. And regarding the reasonable mind, a person uses the reasonable mind when they approach a situation intellectually, logically, rationally. They plan and make decisions based on the facts. From the other side, the emotional mind is using the feelings, control a person's thoughts and behavior. They may act impulsively with little regard for consequences. And as you can see, in the middle is the wise mind, which means that there is a balance. So we make a balance between the reasonable and emotional house. They're able to recognize the respect their feelings while responding to them in a rational manner. So just in the few minutes, just think about your reasonable mind, your emotional mind, and maybe do you keep the balance between your mind and your heart? Usually this is what we say. My heart is saying one thing, my mind is saying another thing. So what is in the between? Just think about this. Yeah, some of you mentioned IQ and EQ. So yeah, cognitive intelligence and emotional intelligence. So how you combine these things in your life? Just if you want, you can write something about this just to become more aware. And if you think that there is no balance in between, maybe think about how you can become wise in terms of using the potential from your cognitive intelligence and emotional intelligence in your social intelligence, or the intelligence that you need to cope and adapt with the environment, to the environment. Okay, just take a few minutes. If you want, you can write something on the chat and we will see.
Maybe, Blagica, can you hear me? Okay. There is another thing in the time being, the participant that can think about that. Not far away from emotion and a reasonable mind, how it will be if we are going to look on the logical and rational mind, how to put this together.
Okay. Eva is saying IQ 80%, EQ 20% for management decision. Yes. Maybe. Emotional intelligence is the much more stronger predictor for the, for example, for the job performance. So if we measure the candidate that is coming to search for a job with the test for cognitive intelligence and emotional intelligence will predict behavior in maximum 10%. 90% from the performance actually is related to the emotional intelligence. So somebody is saying, yes, definitely the emotional intelligence is stronger. Depends from the situation. Of course, it depends from the situation. So one of the most important tools in managing stress actually is to find a balance. Not to be too much reasonable and avoid all of the emotions. This is what people usually do. They are repressing the emotions because they think that this way they will be stronger. In this case, while you're repressing their emotions, they're pushing with a lot of energy to get out. And, the whole energy actually is blocked inside. So we don't have energy to adapt to the environment because we are stuck inside ourselves. This is the anxiety that we are feeling. Just keep this in your mind. Okay, IQ is more stronger, EQ, okay, though it depends on the situation at hand. Okay.
I think we can continue. There is no comments anymore.
Okay, want to go on, Aleksandra?
Yeah, I will start and you will continue because when Blagica asked me about this thing, I said, Blagica, take it for you because when I will open my mouth for these things, I cannot stop. Then if you see that I'm just lost, stop me. Okay, dealing with the stress, where we are, and you can see on the slide exactly in the middle and surrounded with 1,000 things, not only the things what we can see, we can hear, we can touch, even the things what we cannot see, we cannot touch, we cannot smell. Why? Because sometimes we are blind to see the things, sometimes we are deaf to hear the things. Why I'm saying to you this one? Because in this situation, maybe if we open our eyes clearly and we can see the things and we will know how to deal with the things. First of all, during this situation, we have to develop our mindful awareness and related with the mind, with the body, with the surrounding, with the environment, with our personal development, with our spirit and soul, with our family, friends, and co-workers. We have to recharge ourselves. We have to think what we do consume. Why these things? Because the mindful awareness is a foundation skill in the proactive approach to one's life and health. Do not forget that we do have only one life and we don't have extra one, and we don't have reserve plan for our life, and that's the reason why we have to take care a lot about our lives and everything what is mentioned in the circle, what you can see and what already I mentioned. Being fully aware and present in a non-judgmental manner are critical to mindful awareness. Again, I will go back in the power of the mind. You know what the mind can do to us. Think positively, you will attract the positive things. Think negatively, you will attract what you will think. I'm not going to say negative, but at the end, we are humans, and at least once in a day, we have like a thoughts just, you know, run inside, and what are negative, they're not positive. How to do with that, how to deal with that thoughts, or how to replace that thoughts what can be negative and can affect us. This is one of the things what we are doing at the moment, organizing the things and be together in this situation, sharing the experience. All of us, we do have a completely different experience listening direct with these things. Some of the participants who are here with us, they are doctors and they're working and giving the support and give us the things to the society. How to develop, how to feed our spirit and how to feed our soul. This is the very important thing. If you feel happy, if you feel fulfilled, satisfied, that some seminars, some webinars, some course can do that, just do it, find the time. Don't say that you cannot, that you're busy with your kids, that you're busy with the family. No, if it's come to yourself, be selfish. Sorry to say that one, and you have to do, because again, if you're unhealthy, then you cannot provide healthiness to your family members, and you cannot provide healthiness to your kids. There is a different things what you can see on the slide. I will stop here and just there is you can deal with the programs like mindful-based stress reduction, stress management programs, biofeedback, relaxation, meditation, yoga, imaginary tools, mantra repetition, breathe and relax. You can find 1,000 applications on your phones. Do the things what can make you satisfied, what can, you know, when you psychologically, Blagica, you have to help me here. Do we need to feed our ego, super ego, or eat in this situation?
Okay, there was some question when I was reading in the chat, which was saying, give me some fast answer how to cope with stress. I will say that there is no fast answer how to cope with stress. There is not just one answer. There is no just one coping strategy, because as we realized when we were doing the slides together, there are some similarities, but there are many differences between people in terms of how do they respond to the same situation. So what is the difference between to be afraid and to be under stress? Actually is that when we feel fear, there is a real threatening situation. Something will attack us or something can kill us. So there is a real danger. When we talk about stress, it's not always real. Sometimes we have our own way of defining the situation, and we find that, for example, we perceive that in this situation, we do not have enough resources to cope, and this is how we starting to react by mobilizing the whole body, our mind, our soul, in order to protect. So it has a function. The stress has a function. So it's not always a bad thing, as we mentioned at the beginning. Sometimes it can be a useful thing, or the healthiest thing, the healthiest choice in one moment. I'm not saying that the stress is healthy thing, but in certain moment, it's better to be under stress than to make something more worse to our body, mind, and soul. Some of the cases. So in terms of what is the easiest way to find the most appropriate strategy? Some of you mentioned it depends from the situation. Awareness is the most important thing, to be aware about myself in here and now, about my body, my mind, my feelings, my behavior. In the same time, to ask myself, what really matters in my life? What do I want, for example, for myself right now? What I'm doing about it? What is my vision for the future? Which possibilities I can take in order to get there? So everything starts from inside to outside. So if you expect that the environment will change in order to satisfy your needs and to help you to deal with stress, probably you will have a lot of troubles and you will feel like a victim all the time. Always there will be a people that will be responsible for your sorrow, for your feelings, for your feeling of dissatisfaction. But the whole process starts from inside to outside. So if you become aware about your feelings, your thoughts, your behavior, and if you become aware that these things belongs to you, your emotions belongs to you, your thoughts belongs to you, how you behave is up to you. Your body is you. In that case, you control them. So you control them, and you can make another choice if you consider that there is a healthier and better choice for you. So regarding the choices, in this circle, you can see different kind of choices related to different aspects of ourselves that we already mentioned. So you can work on your body in terms of having physical activities, all of the physical activities that makes you feel happy, like walking or doing Pilates or Zumba or whatever makes you happy, or even dancing or moving your body in a certain way to give you an energy and flexibility. Another aspect is the surrounding, the physical and emotional, to make your place to be functional and appropriate to how you feel, in terms of creating the environment in which you will feel more relaxed, more calm, you will feel safe, and you will feel that you can have a pleasant minutes there. So here you can create, you can put some flowers, you can put some candles, you can put some smells that are interesting for you. So you can be creative as much as you can to create the surrounding in which you will feel comfortable, especially if you need to spend the most of the time at home. So you need to make your home, to prepare your home on the way on which you will feel comfortable inside. Another aspect is food and drink, which means that you need to be aware about what you are eating, what you are drinking, what are your habits in keeping to be safe in terms of eating healthy food and something that brings a joy to your body. So just check what kind of habits you have in terms of food and drink, and think about what can be helpful for you. Is this something that you want to continue with, or maybe to change something if you want? We mentioned the personal development, which means to find the options, the solutions that are suitable for you, in which you can develop your potential. So if you think that you have a skills, for example, for something, but you have never tried that because you never had time, because you have a family, you have a children, you have a lot of responsibilities, maybe it's time to think about what you can do with these skills. So just write them down, make a plan, and think about who can help you in this and what you can do, especially to this period when there are a lot of online options. So you don't need to go out from your home, you don't need to go in another country, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You can attend the free webinars, you can attend the free trainings, even conferences, different kind of events that maybe will be helpful for you. Even though you are sitting in your couch at home and you are in the everyday surrounding, you can still attend and listen, at least on your phone. Recharge, this is again related to the body, to sleep properly. Sleeping is very important, to have enough hours for sleeping and refreshing. This is very important for your energy. To keep the relationship with your family, friends, and co-workers. I know that it is very hard now, but at least use all of the virtual options to keep in touch with your people that you really like and people with which you are emotionally connected. Regarding the spirit and soul, you may practice all of the activities that are helpful for you for growing and connecting to the others. And of course, the power of mind. So you can meditate, you can use biofeedback programs, you can use stress management programs, guided imaginary tools. There are plenty of tools available to you. So choose the one that you really like and that you really want to practice. Don't push yourself. If you don't like to do something, don't do it. The second circle is related to professional help, prevention, and treatment. If you cannot cope by yourself, ask help, ask for psychosocial support, use the SOS lines, use the every single possible resource professional in terms of psychotherapist, counselor, or even a facilitator, mental health facilitator that will be here for you, will be present for you, and will give you information about which way to go. So you have the professional services as well. Here, peer support program can be helpful as well. If you have problems with your marriage, you can use marriage and family therapy even from home. And you can use many different methods that are conventional or maybe more complementary approaches. And at the end of the circle, we have the community. So here is to use all of the resources related to the community, not to escape from the community, because as we mentioned, the environment is crucial for us in order to be able to satisfy our needs. So be aware about all of the resources that you have there and that you can use them in order to care better about yourself. So me plus self-care plus professional care plus community gives the whole health. This is more or less here we mention all of the possible options for coping with stress. Again, the choice of every individual is actually unique, and everybody is choosing whatever makes them feel more satisfied and happy. Aleksandra, do you want to add something?
I don't want to add something, but I want to ask you something. As a mental health professional and therapist, for example, if I'm the person, you share with us, I mean, all of us, usually we're trying to find the calm strategies, calm methods, you know, to calm down ourselves and the environment. What if some of the people, they have that type of personality that easily they can release the stress with, I don't know, on the boxing ball, on the raising the voice, screaming, I mean, like a, you know, like a ruffle. What about this situation? If this situation, I will disagree that this stress release is wrong, because sometimes this type of strategies can make you calm faster and easier than the strategies of calmness.
Of course, if they are not hurting themselves and the others, they find some way to express the anger, but they are safe together with all of the other people around them. Yes, why not? It's that's why I mentioned it's individual choice. Every individual is unique in terms of the techniques that are suitable for the individual. There is no one session that is applicable to everyone. Every single session with the client, for example, in my case, is different. So they all choose different things, and it's okay. So sometimes if they have this kind of a need, but again, if they are safe and
yes,
they are not hurting themselves and they're not hurting anybody else, yes, it's okay. Acceptable, of course.
Okay. You know why I'm sharing this one with you? Because 20 years ago, when I used to work in one Swedish company, they had in that company boxing room or stress room. Usually they had the boxing balls when the people, to release their stress, usually they went in that room and do some activities, physical activities, alone in that room, and came back completely like a new person. What it's helping. I saw that when I faced this thing, and I saw that it's working. I mean, I want to say that no need for all the time to try to find something to make us calm, because, you know, we are completely different personality, all of us, and we have to find what is the, you know, the easiest way, the unhurted way to do the things, to you know, to release our stress. I don't know. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good example. It's a good.
Okay, you can continue. I will go with to share. I think that we do have 7 minutes. I don't know we are going to continue or not. Let's manage the time. Now we reach on the time management. Yeah. Blagica, can you hear me?
Yes, let's ask the group if they're willing to go on. Maybe we will need 15 to 20 minutes more.
Do you want to end it up with the last exercise with the question, or do you want to finish completely the webinar? Share your opinion with us about the timing. Anna need to leave 5:30. Let me hear you, all of you. Please continue. Okay, let's do Blagica as far as we can go. We do have just a couple of things. I will just try to do it as soon as possible. There is the 4S when we're talking about, 4A's when we're talking about the stress. The first one is avoid the unnecessary stress. Sometimes as a human, what we do, we created the stressful situation, what unfortunately is not that stressful, and it's not that real. First, you have to know how to say no and know your limits and stick to them. As a human, as a people who work with a human, it's difficult to say no because we don't know how to say no. Don't take more than you can handle. Don't accept the work what you're out of time to do that. You cannot do that. You have to learn something new to do that. Please don't do that one. Avoid the people who stress you out. The main and very important thing. Either limit the relationship time or end the relationship. Please do not. This one I'm telling you for myself. That's the reason maybe I have now one hand friends. I'm saying friends, not the people who know them. Take control of your environment. Use better, best alternatives for day-to-day activities. From the beginning, we mentioned that just how good is that you have to plan each activity day by day. Try to find and choose the best option for you. Cut down your to-do list if you plan too much for that day. This is the things what can produce and increase the level of stress, but at the spot you have to avoid this situations what can produce you the stress. You have to change the situation, avoid the stressors, to alter the situation and alter the stressors, and to change the reaction. I mean, to adapt to the stressor or to accept the stressors. It's up to you. You have the second A, it's alter the situation. You have to express your feelings in an open and respectful way instead of bottling them up. I mean, you're going to face the situation at the moment, and you have to think in the spot and bring the decision in the spot. Maybe that decision can be wrong, but at the moment you will learn from that decision what the step you have to take as an next. You have to have a willingness to compromise. When you demand someone to change their behavior, be willing to do the same. Sometimes we're saying she's or he's the bad, he's doing this or that one, but we are coming to that situation that how I want to change the other behavior, that 40 years I didn't change my behavior. Now somebody will come and tell me what I have to change to myself. It's completely wrong. If you want to adopt, you have to adjust yourself. Be more assertive, deal with the problems. Do not take a back seat. And usually I don't want to be involved in this one, let somebody else do that. I can see Eva is asking something. Eva, I'll come back to you. We have to adapt to the stressor, reframe the problems. Maybe the problem is not that difficult. It's not that hard. Have a look again to the problem, and you will see the stressful situation maybe doesn't look that stressful. Look at the big picture. Ask yourself how important will be the long run. Will it matter a month, year, or a check? How long it will take to adapt to the stressor, to adapt to that stressful situation? And we came to the adjusting. We have to adjust ourselves. We have to adjust our standards. All of us, we have a standards, principles, requirements. But at the moment in this situation, you cannot 100% to follow them. Because why? Because our environment is changed. We are not changed, but we have to adjust our standards, our principles to the environment. Do not do not be yourself. Do not look yourself as a perfectionist. Why? Because the situation is not perfect at the moment. And set a reasonable standard for yourself and the others. Do not expect from the people to behave on the way, because try to understand they are in the situation, and the stressful situation, same like you. And be positive. This is the only thing what you can do to adopt the stressors or to adopt the situation. The last thing is what you have to accept the things that you cannot change. All of us, I think that we are fighters, and I do believe that humans are fighters, and trying that if something is not going from our hand, we're trying, we are pushing, we are spending nights without sleep just to try to find a solution and change the things. But sometimes we cannot change. It's out of our hand. Imagine now if something happened now in this webinar with the technology, it will be out of our hand to do the situation. Don't try to control something what is uncontrollable. Many things in our life are beyond our control, particularly the behavior of other people. You cannot change that one, but you have to adjust yourself to themselves, to their reaction and reaction. You have to react on their action. This is the situation how you have to do. Look for the upside. What doesn't kill us make us strong. This is the opportunity what you have to think. Share your feelings. Share how do you feel, and maybe you will accept and understand another feeling what the people make them stronger, or sorry, learn how to forgive. They said that if the God can't forgive, then why we cannot do that as a human? Sorry. Free yourself by forgiving and moving on. I mean, don't be stick with something what make you stressful. Just leave it and continue to do the things. I can see Eva is asking over here, if you have situation with hard people, you can recognize that it's just the situation. Now connect with the person. Eva, why you do have to be connected with that person? If you're if you're your partner, just leave that partner. It means that he's showing that there is no the connection. If he's your colleague from the workplace, just cooperate with him during the work. Do the work together, and just no need to have the connection with that person. But to the end, you can learn something from this person. You can, from that connection, you can learn, you can recognize what is good, what is bad from that opinion. I think that I say and everything, Blagica, I think, tell me if I'm not done. Any questions regarding this, how we can help you? You can make to not doing list. Yes, I agree with that. Why don't do that? I mean, sometimes we have to fight with our inner needs, inner demands to get what we want, because it's real. At the moment, we do have science fiction situation where the world cannot sort it out, and we have just to adjust ourselves to the situation, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so this is one exercise for stress management. It's called balloon exercise. So it will take us a few minutes if you want to participate, or maybe just keep it for later on. What you need to do is to think about the latest stressful situation and write the situation into this circle or balloon. This represents the balloon. So you need to write down a few sentences about it. Then determine your thoughts. Try to write down every possible thought that comes to your mind in that situation. So no matter what kind of thought it is, in terms of, I want to kill myself, this is awful, what a bad people. So whatever is present in your mind, you can write it down. And in the same time, to determine the emotions that you were feeling during that situation. So here there are 3 emotions that can be represented in this kind of chart, but you can write down even more if you want. So this is actually a template of what is called a stress diary. It's a kind of the journal that a lot of people are using as a stress management tool. So every day they're writing at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. So it's up to you to choose the stressful situations that you, for example, if you're writing at the end of the day, you can write down all of the stressful situations that you experienced during the day. Determine the thoughts. In the same time, you can put the scale in terms of how intensive these thoughts were. For example, if 1 means not so important and 10 means very important, was this situation to you, and how negative these thoughts were in that current situation. You can do the same thing with emotions. So just write down all of the emotions that you are feeling during the situation and grade them from 1 to 10, how intensive they were. For example, if I say I was really, really angry. So if 1 or 0 is the situation where I'm not angry at all in my life, and 10 is the level that I experience is the biggest level of feeling angry in my life. For example, I can grade this or give the score 5 in the current situation, or 6 or 7. So you can do it every day just to follow up which situations or what factors, stressful factors, makes you feel under control. And you can have if I can say, more information to become aware about how do you react to the certain information, and maybe to ask yourself, is there anything else that you can do? This is one option. The other option is to write down all of the thoughts that are coming to your mind in the morning. It's a method called morning pages. So whenever you wake up in the morning, you are taking a notebook and you are writing at least 3 pages of whatever comes to your mind. So you're not stopping yourself, even though, for example, the sentence will be, I don't want to say anything now, or I do not have time now. I do not have time now. Just write it down. So you need to write down at least 3 pages every morning. So you don't need to write them, read them every day, but just keep them. And after a certain period of time, you can go back and see what is changing in your behavior, in the way you feel, in the way you react. Is something changing or not? In which situations, on which days you feel better, in which days you feel not so good, etc. So in this kind of exercises, another thing that they happen, if you manage to write down the stressful situation, your thoughts, your emotions, you can visualize this balloon, close your eyes, think about how you are carrying this balloon, for example, outside, and imagine these emotions like the stones that are keeping the balloon not to fly in the air, and try to feel how heavy it is right now. In the same time, you can try to cut the first emotion and check what will happen. So you're cutting the first stone, then the second one, then the third one, and you're leaving the balloon to fly away. This is like a kind of the stress management tool. So in this kind of in this situation, I will stop with the explanation of this exercise right now. If we have some other sessions together, maybe we can try some this exercise or some other tools of visualization, just to have an experience with this. So I will just finalize all of the aspects that we covered today. What is important during COVID-19 is to build a support system for yourself by establishing a good relationship in the environment, in order to have a protective environment and supporting environment that is able to meet your needs. If you're a parent, you need to be protective and supportive surrounding to your children as well. So an appropriate environment does not only mean being with someone, but also building a relationship that is safe enough to establish co-regulation and creative adaptation in every single second. So it often helps to deliberately engage in vulnerable, deep conversations with the person you trust, who is usually helped by silence. Silence is very important as a tool. When you are with someone and you want to be empathetic and to share that you really understand that person, you don't need to talk all the time. It's better just to keep silent, because the silence enables the experience of what is said from both sides. So sharing the emotional state sometimes is very hard for some people because they really don't want to do that. Consider the help that many close people and professionals offer to you at this time. And let's sail together with joint efforts to successfully overcome the pandemic and build a resilient society. This is the final message from my side. This is the link from Desiderata. I don't know, do you know this poem? Let's go with the feedback a little bit. If you want, we can just close this session, this webinar, with this poem, which has a very it is a very useful message. It has a very interesting words that may be helpful for you, and you can just have it for yourself in the future. So it's time for feedback, for questions and answers. So if you want to say something, if you want to write down something about this experience today, we are together 2 hours and 10 minutes. So if you want to say something and to share something, please do it.
You can be connected if you want only with the sound, no need for video. I can understand. I mean, it's better if we have some direct communication. If you want to share your experience, your opinion. There is another training, Blagica, you can mention to them, introduction for the Gestalt. What will be 15 or 5th?
5th. Actually, it will be an info session for
I cannot hear you.
therapy. No?
There's no sound,
Okay.
Blagica.
But now it's okay? No?
Yeah, now yes, it's fine.
Okay. What I wanted to say is that actually it is an info session for the people that are interested to apply for education in Gestalt therapy. So it's you can follow the Gestalt Training Institute on Facebook. It's a page on Facebook where you can find more information about all these events, or you can contact me anytime, so I will provide you with the information about the events that we are organizing.
For the people who are not in Macedonia, you can contact me and I will contact.
Of course, yeah, of course. So you can contact us anytime, and since it's online, it's an international environment. So whoever is interested may join. Blagica for Macedonian?
Yeah, she's, I think, she's Macedonian still.
I don't understand the question.
Are you from Macedonia? I think that's the question.
From Macedonia? Yes, if that is the question, yeah.
How did you find this webinar? It was useful. Did we help somehow?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Isra. Victoria, Anita, thank you.
I'm glad I was able to attend.
Thank you, Dr. Troya. You use only one divisor to join 15 of you. Great. Thank you, Isra.
So probably we will share this recording online. So if you're interested, maybe to go back to some of the slides, or if you need more material, we're here. And for sure, we will organize the next webinar together. It was a very nice experience. Thank you, Aleksandra, for this opportunity.
Thanks to you, Blagica.
Very nice experience to organize the whole thing and to have you as a co-speaker in this virtual environment.
Thanks to you. We can, what I will suggest, you have our emails. You can suggest some topics, your needs, your demands, and me and Blagica, we can sit together and we can just develop that topic, and we can elaborate and we can organize the interactive things with you. Blagica, did you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will write down my email once again. You can do it the same, Aleksandra, just in case somebody missed that.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Okay, I will give you. I can give you my personal, or never mind. Already you have. It's at yahoo.com. You can contact me on this email. Or perfect. I know that you are preparing for iftar now. I'm wishing you all blessings during the holy month. Wishing you blessing Ramadan, and hopefully we will see you soon in one place, but physically, not through the technology and social media.
Okay. I will finalize this with desiderata. I hope that you will stay until the end just to have an experience to hear it, or just have a link for this. Just to check, is the sound working? Do you hear the sound?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so I will try once again.
Try. You have to.
Technology.
You have to adjust yourself, your skills. I learn a lot of things now. Me, the person who is against the technology.
Yeah.
I do believe in the physical contact, face to face, one to one.
Go play noise and hate.
Yeah.
And remember, they may be inside.
No. Wait, Blagica.
As possible without surrender. Be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there'll be greater and lesser persons than yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees in the sky. You have a right to live here, and whether or not it is clear to you, doubt, the universe is unfolding as it should. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to the virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the sky. You have a right to be here, whether or not it is clear to you. No doubt, the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever you live to desperation. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful, strive to be happy.
Thank you, Blagica.
Just a second.
You can share the link.
To share the link of Desiderata?
Yes, of Desiderata.
Just a second. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, for your sharing, for the opportunity to be together in this virtual room today. And I wish you all the best to yourself, to your families, to have a good moment and to cope with the stress on the best possible way during this pandemic time.
Same for me. Stay safe, stay happy as you are, and hopefully to see you soon in life.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you for your participation and for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.